Hey everyone, I'm Hamish, and you're watching The Modern Viking. Sometimes I see people at the gym lifting a weight that just does not make sense for their body mass. How do they hit that kind of weight? Well, today I want to talk a lot about the psychology around being in the gym, and not just that pushing beyond the endurance boundary like in the last video, but today I want to talk about what you can do to actually use that psychology to make you stronger. So I want to talk a lot about what you can do to make you stronger in the gym, but first let's look at a study. This is a study which can apply to how psychology for the gym can affect your strength outside of the gym. So there are two studies which are linked in the description, and they will go into a lot more detail than I will. I'm just kind of going off of my memory here, but essentially what they entail, or at least one of them, is that there was a group of people that were doing workouts, for example, curling, right? Bicep curls. And obviously, during the study, they were increasing in muscle mass. There was another group that was not doing any of that, but they were visualizing. They would spend the same amount of time that the people actually working out, they'd spend the same amount of time doing those visualizations of them working out for the same amount of time, the duration of the study. Then there was the third group, the control group. And as control groups go, they virtually did nothing. No exercise, nor the visualizations. Now, let's look at the outcome of the study. Those who were doing all the curls or whatever, they grew 50-something%. It's in the article, you can have a good read of it. Those who did the just visualizations, they actually grew by about 30-something%. Now you could say that maybe the 50% increase from the muscle, the actual doing the work, you could say that's just natural and how fast people usually grow, roughly compared to the visualization. But if you look at the control group that did virtually nothing, their rate of growth was either minuscule or not really at all, perhaps even atrophy. There was another study as well, and it looked into people with casts and how fast their muscles would atrophy compared to people who did visualizations and didn't. But the bottom line is, and remember that's in the description, the bottom line is that your mind goes a long way as to how fast you grow. But that's only a tiny part of this video, or rather the point of it. Today, I want to talk a bit more about the psychology of how you can use that sort of mental power to give you more strength in the gym, not just after it, but while you're doing those workouts. How can you get more strength at the time? And to do that, I would like to introduce the guest for this video, my trainer and very good friend, Dale V Fitness.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on, eh?
Welcome on.
Alright, welcome everyone. Firstly, I just want to say excuse the attire. I've just come from work. More specifically, had a nap, then came.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my name is Dale Fillion, and I go by the online name of Dale V Fitness, and that's kind of just my whole fitness brand. And yeah, me and Hamish are best mates. We've been best mates for about 4, 5, 6 years now. We kind of stopped counting after what, year 5, year 4?
Your maths is always just
it's always shit, you know. It goes from like 4 years
to 8 years
to 8, then sometimes it's 6 as well, but it could be 3.
We've
Somewhere
just been confusing people.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so we've been mates for however long we have been, and roughly about the start of this year, just to give some context and kind of the trainer relationship we have now, roughly to the start of the year, I started going really hard on fitness, and I got a personal trainer, got a mentor, got a trainer in boxing as well, and just went all out and decided I'm going to learn everything I can, doing a certificate as well in advanced fitness. And after about 5 months of doing it, we realized that Hamish was, for those of you that don't know, Hamish is a vegan. We realized that you were struggling a lot with kind of just keeping up with your nutrition, and there were a lot of symptoms of not getting, you know, all the nutrients your body needs, such as like you were getting really pale.
Yeah.
You were getting quite sick for a long time, and this is quite unusual for Hamish. Normally you don't get sick, and I kind of just...
pretty good immune system.
Yeah, exactly. He's quite a good immune system. So in that regard, I started getting a bit worried, and had a chat to him and decided, hey, let's get you on a meal plan, a vegan meal plan. So I learned a lot there. It was really cool learning about like vegan diets. I realized it's not just salads. I realized it's not just ice for dinner. So it was...
We don't just go through our backyard just like grazing.
Which is, you wouldn't believe it, but he's not lying. But there was, a lot that I learned around that, and it was good. When he started on this diet, he was probably at about 800 calories. Give or take 800 calories,
I
900,000.
think that contributed a lot to the sickness.
Yep, so he was barely eating anything. I mean, I got him to download a food tracking app for about a week, and the results were just horrid. And I triple checked with him many times. I was like, did you record every single drop of food? And he was like, yep, straight face. And I can tell he wasn't lying.
No.
And it was essentially, after that, I realized that we've got to get him onto the meal plan. And he got it. We pushed him up to about 3,300 calories, slowly started eating a bit more. Now he's kind of been sitting on that new path of eating a lot of food, a lot of healthy food that's going to get him protein, because as a lot of you might know, vegans don't really get, well, they get a lot of protein, but it's a lot harder. You've got to focus a bit more on that, getting that protein, because for us meat eaters, chicken, right? Like,
It's funny though, I've had a lot of people be like, oh, you skinny bitch, it's just because you're vegan, bro. And it's like, I know, because like I see these people's diets, I know I have more protein in my diet than they do.
100%.
And they're skinnier than I am, so fuck them.
Yeah,
but it's
exactly.
like, that's only because now I'm so focused on that.
Getting the protein. But the thing is, if you're vegan, and this might not have been your case, but if you're vegan and you don't understand protein, you don't understand your macros, how are you going to focus on getting protein? So I've seen a lot of cases of people who are vegan and don't really understand how macros work, and they end up getting some pretty horrible complications.
This is how I was thinking. I was like, I need protein, and I was eating fuck all, like we said. So I was only eating cashews and or almonds. I just had nuts. Because I was like, oh, I'm getting protein.
Yeah, exactly that. So that's kind of
unhealthy.
How we came to be, and naturally, once you do a meal plan, what comes with it? Fucking gym.
Yeah.
You got the first step, right? Biggest part of the gym, 70%, 80%.
You already roped me into the health journey.
Yeah,
like, just come to the gym.
Exactly. So like we got him onto the meal plan, which is, like nutrition, diet, that's like 60, 70. I would even complain 80% of like, kind of building the dream life you want to have body-wise and health-wise. So that's how we got to where we are, and I don't train him a lot anymore. I just give him a tips, advice, and teach him some things he's maybe asked me about, but he's kind of gotten to the point where he can independently go and do his own routine. So that's
I showed you my like deadlift day routine recently.
Yeah. It was really interesting seeing how he went off and took what he had learned from me and a couple other people and just turned that into his own little thing. And that's what I think the fitness journey for a lot of people is. You take what your mentor teaches you and you apply a bit of your own things to it that you've learned.
You make it like work with your style sort of.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess that kind of that whole mentor relationship is what I had, and it's what I had with my trainer. It's what I've passed down to him, and he'll maybe pass down to someone else one day, and that's kind of my goal with my whole
maybe that
brand.
Guy that went to the gym with me today, but I don't know, my hopes are low.
Moving on to the next segment. So I guess this brings us to the topic of the
point.
Video. The point of the video after my introduction is just speaking about how you kind of get into a bit of a mindset to allow you to push mentally further. How do you do that? What does it look like in the gym?
And it's not just an endurance thing, because in the last video where I was just sat here, I spoke a lot about getting into that headspace where you just kind of like ignore the pain sort of, or like kind of compartmentalize the pain. But today we want to talk about not just how you can compartmentalize that pain, as I say, but rather have more strength in the moment to get up that rep. Not just like ignoring that it hurts, but actually be stronger. How can you do that from a mental standpoint?
And that's kind of I guess that brings me into my first question. And something the viewers you guys can think about on your own as well. If you've already reached the state of kind of being in that mental state where you can push past everything, if you've already reached there, you can kind of comment this down below. And I'd be really interested to hear. He'd love to hear. We're quite engaged with the audience. But I guess the question would be, how do you achieve strength from your brain essentially? How does that work? That doesn't make sense. Like, how are you going to get stronger, which is a physical thing, from your brain? That just
especially in the moment.
Me.
Okay. Good question. So, I see it in two ways. There's kind of the way that I look at it, and there's the way that we're not scientists, but I think I can explain it from a relatively scientific standpoint. But just, don't take it as gospel, or don't take it as whatever. So the way I look at it is, it's like, you need to get mad. Not just like, you need to be like, woo, I'm ready. Like, people do that. They energize themselves by like going like, woo, like making loud sounds. Bro, you actually have to genuinely be pissed off. Like, and the reason I say that, and we're gonna come back to be mad, but the kind of more chemical side of what I'm saying there is, when you're in those fight or flight modes, like that's where adrenaline rushes exist, right?
Yep. Oh yeah.
And you think of like a 50 kg girl lifting a car off of a kid. I'm sorry, I can't pick up a car.
Yeah.
I'm not a 50 kg girl, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I do powerlifting. I can't pick up a car.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but in the context of an adrenaline rush, absolutely. And so you think, okay, so what is it like to be having an adrenaline rush, and when does it happen? It does fucking not happen when you're sitting at home like, I like life.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
It happens
Yeah.
when you're fucking mad. It happens when you're ready to protect. It happens when you're in battle mode.
Yeah.
You know? And if that battle is battling the car to save your kid's life or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's when you're fight or flight. It's survival instinct. That's what it is. It's, you know, about survival. And so you've got to make yourself so mad. You got to genuinely not just be like, woo, I'm pumped. You actually have to like get yourself pissed.
Yeah.
In a way that works for you, which we'll get to the point that you're actually artificially inducing an adrenaline rush, even if not to the same extent as a natural one, but like getting yourself into that place where you can actually push and lift more. You know?
Yeah. And I think that's a really good answer, because it kind of explains every side of it. You know, it explains how you get into it, what it's not going to look like, what it does look like, and what it feels like. I think it's very easy to say when you get into that headspace, oh, you go mental, that's cool. But it's also, people are wondering, well, how do they know what that actually looks like? I think you've kind of explained that very well. It's an anger. It's just a type of anger, as much as people like to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
It's an anger you get into. It's a rage. And for me, like, there's been times where I've been upset, and you know, for me, I use the gym as a lot of times like an outlet to just have my own kind of time to think, and I'll use that kind of that feeling of being upset to in turn make me angry. And that anger will then be used to beat a personal record or push a couple more reps. And you know, there's a lot of different things that you can use to be angry, and it doesn't have to be anger itself. It can be something that causes an anger, right? Just like I said, for me, it's a bit of it's a lot of things that, you know, I'll get more in depth to but later. But it's, you know, it's that trigger. It's something that's going to trigger that anger in you. And you know, we don't want to, you know, we're not sitting here saying that the gym has to be raging.
An angry place. You don't want to associate bad shit with it.
Yeah, exactly. But for example, I'll tell you one thing for me that I do that gets me into that anger state, but doesn't depress me, doesn't upset me, doesn't make me triggered. It's for me, it's a lot of things. When I was young, I used to fail everything. Not fail in terms of, oh, I couldn't do it.
You did. Okay.
But not in terms of fail in terms I couldn't do it, but fail in terms of I just gave up over and over and over again. So I think in my head, when I'm sitting down working out and I'm going, I'm not going to be that kid again.
No.
I'm going to be like the strongest person mentally and just be the best person I can be. And part of that for me is getting these reps, not giving up like I used to. I'm going to fucking do it. I'm going to get into that. See, that's like, for me, it's a part of it. It's a type of anger, but it's not an anger that I'm going to go to the gym and be like, oh man, I really don't feel like getting upset. Today is a good day. Like, I can go on a good day. This is good, man. Like, I'm not going to be that fucking person. I'm not going to do this shit.
Because that's such a literal thing. It's like, so for me, and we'll get to my things later, but not just yet. But it's like, for me, it's a lot of very like, you know, fantastical stuff. It's stuff that's not actually happening, you know? But for you, it's quite literal. It's like, you're using this, like, I'm not going to be the old me. I'm going to go to the gym and work hard. And you're using that as your motivator and also the psychological thing. And I guess those are two different things, which we'll touch on. But not only are you using it as that, that's literally what you're doing. It's like you're getting mad about. It's like if you don't do it, then you don't go. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like that's literally it.
I'm actually using that kind of feeling, and yeah, I guess that is just the whole idea. You know, is to find that thing for you as well. It's you can't listen to my video and use it for yourself if you don't feel the same way.
No.
If you felt like a kid who failed all the time, okay, maybe you can go into the gym, but you got to find that thing that gets you into that headspace. And maybe it's being happy, you know, maybe it's something. It's something that is.
I want to try. It's like I won't be sad. I want to be happy.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna be that depressed kid who was upset for 2-3 years of my life. Yeah. I'm gonna be happy and be a good person.
2-3? Fuck, I wish. I'm kidding. No, but yeah, something I think is interesting about what you're saying is that it's that what you just said is two things. It ticks two boxes. One is that it gets you motivated. Because sometimes it's hard to maintain motivation, and there's so much stuff on the internet about motivation versus discipline these days, which is an important concept.
Yeah.
But it's like having motivation fucking helps, and if you're able to consistently be motivated by having something that recurringly motivates you, that's awesome. It's like, for me, when I'm trying to motivate myself to do a set, I'm thinking about it more on the literal side. I'm like, okay, I want to perform well in this powerlifting competition in 3 weeks. Or like, I'm looking at this weight and it's like my current PB, and I know I'm going to try to beat it today. And I look at it, it's still scary, it's fucking heavy. And I'm like, or heavy for me.
It will always be.
Yeah.
You know?
And so I'm like, okay, like, I just have to tell myself, I'm like, this is my old PB, I've already done this. And it's all this psyching yourself up to motivate you. So all this stuff about, I'm going to be better, that motivates you. It gets you into the mindset where you want to do it and you're ready to push past. But then at the same time, there's that anger. You're like, no, it's that defiance. Like, I'm not going to be that person. And you have that, you know, and it's that absolute battle within yourself. You know?
Yeah, that kind of brings out a bit of the monster. And it kind of reminds me a bit of this kind of, I'm not going to call it a saying because it's just a way of like thinking. And it's when you're getting into that mindset, when you're like that, you want to be, you know, before your set, for example, you want to be motivated to do the set. But there's this idea I like to live by, and not live by, but kind of preach, is that with motivation, you don't, I believe it's an incorrect belief to think that you're going to be motivated 100% of the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not going to be. You're going to have months where you feel like not motivated at all. That's where your discipline kicks in. That's where you're really going to be disciplined. There's not going to be, you know, like, I'm going to hit this PB because I saw a quote that motivated me so much today. And like, I realized like, I'm going to get out of the rat race now. Like, good, use that to get your set started. But, you know, at the end of the day,
you have to stick to it.
Yeah, you got to stick to it. And that's and that's for me. And the point I've mentioned that is, or the reason I've mentioned that is because for me with the sets, right, when I'm feeling knackered, absolutely dead, especially certain workouts, you know, where it hurts me in a way like that. You're just like, holy shit, I am knackered. I use motivation kind of in a way that it is aimed towards certain parts of my day. If I try and be motivated the whole day, I'm going to fail. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
So you allow yourself to be really, not lazy, but like more, so that when you come to the shit that's important to you, like the gym, you can send it.
Yeah, and it's like it's more to do with the fact that when I'm at the gym, I'm not using motivation at all. Really, it's mostly just plain I might want to be good at what I'm doing, but I use the motivation kind of in times that I really feel would help. So I'll go, okay, I've got motivation today. I'm not going to walk into the gym going, I'm so motivated, I'm going to do good. That's how I feel every time. But when there's times I'm on the last set of the last workout, then I'm like, holy shit. And then I'll just use that quick kind of image in my head of me being someone who I really want to be. And actually, you know what? Let's use that motivation. Yeah. Let's get motivated.
You can't exhaust it, And we'll get to, I might as well start talking about some of my things then, because that's a good point.
Yeah, I guess we'll go into your stuff now. Yeah, but about what pushes you. How do you get into that headspace?
Because I like what you say. There's kind of like, you know, you don't use it the whole time, because there's something that I've only used twice now, but I know I don't want to overdo it because it's, you know, it's almost like a drug. So I do a lot of visualization. For you, I guess it is a bit of visualizing, but also just a lot of like conceptual shit, right? Like you don't want to be this person.
Yeah, a bit more like that.
For me, it's putting myself into a scene. I'm making stuff up. It's very, like I said before, it's fantastical. Not like Lord of the Rings necessarily, but you know, it's not real.
Yeah.
So I'm a relatively spiritual person. I give a fuck about my ancestors. You don't have to, but one of the things I visualize, and you know, you don't have to take the exact scene, but perhaps more the point. The concept. I like to visualize that I'm back at time, right? I'm at a castle gate, but I'm with all my fucking ancestors from that time, all these Vikings and shit, right? And because I'm back in time, like, we're all the same age, we're like brothers in arms, we're all this family and this little war group, and we've got a battering ram, just this big log, we're gonna bash into this castle, and bro, there are motherfuckers shooting arrows down at us. If I don't pull my weight, guess who's gonna suffer? Me and all them. We're all gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
So
you've got to push.
So when I've got my hands on the bar, I'm ready to pull up that fucking rep. I'm sitting or kneeling or whatever, and I'm I'm visualizing I'm holding the bar or the battering ram,
Yeah, yeah.
and I've got this countdown. It's like as soon as we say go, we have to start hitting this ram into the gate. We have to be in sync. We have to be in unison.
You're
Otherwise,
gonna die if you don't.
yeah. And so and it's I could die, but it's also like their life. I'm responsible for their lives as well.
Yeah. If you just go, oh, not today.
Yeah, it's like, oh, sorry guys, can you take
arrow
the...
shooting?
Yeah.
You fucking people
So
charging you.
I'm just like go, like one, and there's when we go, it's go time, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's literally, I'm in my mind, bro. I'm going to war. My other two things, it's kind of one thing, but there are two different ways I look at it, and it's this whole kind of like, the protective instinct and the protective need I have for people I care about. So you know, this doesn't work for everyone, and it's not because, well, I don't think it's because it doesn't work in the conventional sense. I think it doesn't work for everyone because it's a little bit hard to think about. It's very distressing. Thankfully, I'm very good at compartmentalizing these sorts of things. I think about fucked up shit all the time, not in a bad way. Like, you know, like I love horror movies. You know, my favorite movie's fucked up. You've seen it. Yeah. I like dark shit, and not in an edgy way, but just, you know,
just a little bit edgy, you know.
I'm not trying
It
to
likes
be
to
edgy.
feel 16 and cool sometimes.
Yeah, bro. My Chemical Romance. Nah, but anyway, so I'm good at compartmentalizing these things, and some people are as well. So this could work for you. And so I visualize, you know, people about whom I care very deeply in a very unsafe scenario. And you know, I'm not going to explain because, you know, this is a public forum, and there are, you know, possibly people watching that don't want to hear it. But, you know, for me to pull up that rep, I'm saving them. I'm taking them away from that danger, and it's this absolute, like, I am responsible for their you know, well-being, I guess you could say. And then so it's this, like, I have to do this. I have to do this for them.
There's no choice. Yeah.
And the one that I say I really try not to exhaust, and this is why I was inspired to start talking about my stuff, because that I really liked what you said about, like, that kind of, like, only using it in certain times. So I've only used it when hitting my two most recent deadlift PRs. I've not used it on squats, not used it on bench, and that's the imagination that this danger has already afflicted the people that I care about, or a person that I care about, in this negative way. And now it's no longer this, I have to prevent it, but it's more so this vengeful side of me. And I'm not really a vengeful person, but, you know, I think everyone has a limit. And you've seen when I did the 130 deadlift, you've seen the video of when I did the 140 kg deadlift. I don't know if you saw that, like, my eyes would like, usually when I'm getting fired up,
it's
I'm
just
like
different.
I'm like wide eye. I'm like,
yeah.
but you saw then I was just like,
eyes half open kind of vibes.
just this fucking, like, I'm about to kill a bitch. Like, and it's like I say, it's mad. You have to be in that. I don't know. It's a chemical thing. Which
it's
is
like, it's just you're kind of. It's harder for some people to get into than others. For me, it's way harder than him, and but when you get into it, you just know. You just know. You get into this, like, rage, this anger, and a big thing that can bring it for a lot of people that you see online commonly is the heartbreak, for example, right? Yeah. And that brings out a lot of, like, just this pure hatred, anger, all the negative emotions. But they use that to build it into the most
this
fucking,
this exploding,
this most insane workouts, routines, and that builds discipline. So it's obviously, don't do things that are unhealthy for you. That's the first thing I want to say is with anything gym-wise, anything making your body good for yourself, anything about making yourself healthy, don't do what's unhealthy, put simply. And what's unhealthy for you is different to other people, mentally speaking. So if you feel you get put in a headspace so bad that you can't handle things because you're getting into this angry rage, like,
then don't visualize
then don't do it. But actually, the second thing that I really wanted to say is you don't actually have to get into this angry rage. If you don't want to, if you're someone who's content with where you're at, you've done 8 months of progress. For example, me, I did 6 months of progress where I started really getting to the mental side of it, and then, like, just getting pushed and pushing harder and harder and harder. If you're someone who's gotten to the point where you've actually got a nice body, healthy, you're really healthy, and you're feeling good.
Why go further?
And you don't want to go further, you don't have to. This is just more for the people that want to go that extra mile. They want to unlock that 15%, that 20% of strength.
And I feel like a lot of people, the people watching this video at this point of the video, most of them probably are those people.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's you know, if you have this urge to be more in the context of the gym at the very least, and that urge to be more is insatiable. Nothing you can do can satisfy it. Which is, it can be negative if you let
If
that
handled
consume you.
incorrectly.
Yeah, but if you allow that to push you to keep setting new goals and achieving them, bro. I'm deadlifting 200% of my body weight. I want that to be 300. Dale probably thinks that's insane. I want to deadlift I don't just mean 300% of my body weight right now. I mean, I want to get to a point at which I can say in that moment, however much I weigh at that time, yeah, I'm deadlifting 300% of myself. You know, like, you keep fucking going, man.
Just don't give up. I mean, it's for people that haven't started that are viewing this now. Progress is quite addictive in a good
Yeah.
way. Like, especially when you're someone who's been on a bit of a plateau your entire life. Go home, play video games. Go to bed, go and play video games. And
Bro, those people don't even plateau because they don't even climb to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. And that's me. Or like that was me. That was me at 14, right? 14, 15, 16, 17.
That's a lot of 14-year-olds.
Yeah,
15,
and
16, 17.
it was just you know, not much progress. So when I started getting progress in the gym, strength wise, mental, like, fuck, I can't begin to explain how much like stuff mentally the gym has helped me with. And it's just changed my life in terms of building a healthy
It
lifestyle.
makes you just, yeah, a better person for a lot of reasons. And I guess, like, again, I feel as though I'm very good at compartmentalizing certain negative things. So, you know, Dale has this whole kind of like, I'm going to be better than my negative self. And it actually is a very positive anger, if you think about it. And for me, obviously, it comes from a very negative place. But it's, like I say, I'm compartmentalizing that. I had a point to make here. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have, you were talking about, like, you know, things you live by. I have kind of a quote that I like to live by. And it's one of those things where understood incorrectly or applied incorrectly, it could be a very negative thing. Whereas I like to take the positive side of it, and I'll kind of explain that once I've said the quote. But the quote is from the second season of The Witcher. I don't actually watch a lot of TV, but you know, The Witcher's good. And the quote is, less than perfect means death. And I remember telling you that, and then you were saying how that was funny to you because your quote that you live by is something to do with the perfection from the opposite way, and I'll let you get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But you know, for me, it's not thinking I have to be perfect in a world sense, because we both know that's not possible. There is no such thing as perfection, but it's what is the most perfect you can do. And so when you start thinking about it, I can't be perfect because I can't give more than my best, but what is the most perfect that I can do? Then it's more about giving your all, never walking away from something thinking I could have done more, never settling for good enough, because if something's good enough, then you could have done more. Only doing your absolute all. And I try to apply that to the gym and everything. It's like, and I guess I bring this up because of that whole, like, you know, the people that want more. It's part of that. I always want more because less than perfect means death.
Well, yeah, and I think that's correct. So what he means by the quote that I said in the conversation we had when he told me was that I found it quite funny because the not necessarily the quote I live by, but one of the quotes that kind of sum up how I feel is, and this isn't direct quotes, just the kind of general vibe. I guess
Paraphrase.
Yeah, and it's that you can't be perfect. It's impossible to be perfect, but just you gotta keep trying. You know what I mean? Keep trying to be kind of perfect. It's not possible, but keep trying and keep becoming better and better, because what you are right now is incredible, but it's not enough. Like, it's not enough in the sense that you can be more.
It is enough right now. How where you are right now is absolutely enough. But if you stop there, in 2 years, it's not going to be enough anymore. So
exactly.
you need to grow with yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's kind of that sense that there is no perfection. You know, nothing is perfect, and you've got to just keep bettering yourself over and over again. That the quote was around, there's no such thing as perfection, but you got to keep. It doesn't mean you must stop being a better version of yourself every day. Yeah, exactly. I like to think, I live in a way that I like to think like I've got a circular way of thinking. So it's kind of like I start my day or my week or my month or whatever this time period is. I start here, goes in a circle, kind of like start here, try some things out. I failed some things, learned what I did wrong, write it down kind of thing, apply it to my next day. I'm going to become better and better.
And then you get to the point where you've achieved that, and you're like, well, I've finished that now. And then you say, like, that's great. How can I make it even better?
Exactly. So it's that circular, in that circular sense, there's no such thing as perfection, because perfection is
never ends.
The end of a line. But I think his quote, whilst it contradicts the one I'm into, I believe in, I think it's actually the exact same thing in a way.
It's just the way you understand it.
Exactly. Both of them are getting both of us to not stop giving our 100%.
If you hear less than perfection means death, and you think, obviously, you know, in the real world, for most people, it's not actually going to mean death. But, like, you know, if you hear that and think, like, oh, like, I'm a failure if I'm not perfect, like, and you let that get you down, well, bro, fuck, what are you doing? But, you know, if you let that make you be like, I'm doing great, you know what, I'm going to appreciate my achievements and my progress, but I want to do fucking better. Like, I'm not going to settle for this. I'm going to do even better. And then you go lift more. Like, people can only grow so quickly, and, like, I'm not like hitting a new 10 kg up PB every few days. Fuck, imagine. But I mean, I increased my deadlift PR by 10 kgs in 5 days recently. Hey, I'm just flexing, but, like, you know,
He's got that mad, like, newbie games. Like, he's
fuck you.
Just a lucky
but
man.
I wouldn't have tried that if I didn't have that urge. I would have just been there being like, you know what?
Content with that, like, weight thing.
Yeah.
This is heavy. This is pretty good.
Because
like, I'm chill.
I'm competing in 3 weeks. I want to hit 150.
Yeah, like, the thing is, like, he's got to lose a man. You know what I mean? You. The effect.
That's how I felt.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of the idea we've gone by, and it's funny how just we've had opposite quotes.
Yeah.
Yet they're the same.
It's
just an interesting concept to me.
Sometimes, you know, if you're so hungry for progress like we are, you know, don't get us wrong. Sometimes that'll mean that, because we're not perfect, obviously, that's the whole point. But, like, you know, even sometimes it's hard for us if we fail. You know, like, we beat ourselves up for that. I mean,
it's natural. Yeah.
You've seen me when I fail a PR attempt. Yeah, like, and there are too many of them on the bench. And, you know, you saw me when I failed.
Eats you up.
I remember, like, kind of almost boasting, like, I've never failed a squat PR attempt. Never failed a deadlift PR attempt. And a few days later, I failed that squat PR attempt. I mean, I could blame the spotter for being fucking retarded, but whatever. You know, and
he likes to justify his weakness sometimes.
Fuck you. But man, like, you saw how depressed that made me. I felt like shit.
Yeah, you could see it was just eating him up inside. Like, it was pretty bad.
I was just like, I'm fine.
Yeah. I was not happy, but I guess that's kind of the drive you need as well.
Yeah.
'Cause to me, if you're failing a PR and you're like, oh, another day, like, then not for you, sorry, the viewer, but for me as a person, if I give the kind of feeling of like, oh man, like, that sucks, then I feel like I'm not pushing enough. Whereas if I am going,
imagine walking out of the gym feeling like you could have done more.
Yeah, and we've all had days like that. Like, it's part of it, but you're gonna use that circular mindset and go, okay, this time my failure here was that I walked out not doing enough.
Yeah.
Let's go tomorrow.
Go harder.
And not have that. Then we fix that part. Then you work on yourself over again. If you're not doing that, then you got to figure out, like, what's important to you.
You know those leg raises? You, like...
Oh, that's a strength test like that.
Bro,
That's a mental test.
I did 10 more than my old, like, PR set on that today. Which was cool.
So it's that power. But yeah, kind of in summary of all this, you've got to find what works for you. What gets you into the state that pushes you further, and how can you unlock
an
that?
adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
How do you do it? Figure that out.
Yeah. How do you do it? Try different things. Maybe go,
I want this promotion at work, and if I don't get this if I don't get this bar up, I'm not getting this promotion.
Yeah.
No, I must have it. My career is everything. You know, whatever.
Exactly. It can be anything like that. Or I challenge you to do this when you're feeling your shitters. Go to the gym. Don't wait for the good days, because maybe that shit feeling you have, maybe. Yes, it's hard to wake up. It's hard to go to the gym. But maybe once you're in the
Take
gym,
it out of the gym.
Maybe that's what your drive. You know, you gotta try. I mean, for me, like, when I started, to not get into a whole another speech. For me, when I started, I went 1 a.m., 2 a.m. because I was having a really rough time in my life. 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. I couldn't sleep anywhere past 11 to about 4 a.m. I didn't sleep at all, and that is when I said, you know what? I feel like shit. I don't have anything else to do. Let's give it a go. Then I found that was my rage.
I hit my first big for me, bench PR in a similar situation where I couldn't sleep. I was like, fuck it. It's like 11 p.m. after
Yeah,
mining
yeah.
for hours. Just go to the gym. Woo, okay.
Something like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the whole, you know, the whole idea we've had behind this video and what got us into talking about it. It was obviously Hamish's idea, and he invited me on, which I've been really grateful for, to have a good conversation and just speak about our thoughts. And
We've actually recorded this 3 times, but we had technical issues, and we were like, just fine, we'll record this tomorrow. Technical issues again. Record this tomorrow.
we're talking technical issues in the sense that you record the entire thing and you go up to your phone and it's dead, or you record it, you go up to your phone and it's not even recording, it's on the home screen. It's just shit like that. So
yeah.
really good rehearsals. But
So it needs a script, you just rehearse it.
yeah, exactly right. And but it's good. I think it's probably, you know, it's been really great. And the cool thing about this is it's really made us notice that we love just speaking freely. And it kind of brings us to the idea that, hey, podcast would be really fucking good.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a filter-free place where nothing is filtered.
Yeah.
We just speak 2-hour conversations, you know.
Because that's the thing, like, we've been having this conversation now, and we have allowed ourselves to go on tangents a little bit, but, like, I could see you, and obviously me as well, like, I could see us trying to stay on topic.
Yeah.
And, like, on the previous 2 video attempts, we weren't doing that. And,
yeah,
and you know, we just went free, and, like, those were cool. I mean, I fucking enjoyed it, you know? But it's like we've been trying so hard to stay on track with this video, which is cool. It's probably better for the video. But when we make that podcast...
That's going to be fire. That's going to be absolutely fire.
Uncut...
Yeah.
Cops called. I'm kidding. Yeah.
People attacked. Like, this is gonna go wild.
Yeah, prank channel.
Prank channel. Yeah. You know what? Maybe that's the modern prankster.
The modern prankster. Gym pranks. Going out to people at like full depth squat.
Like, don't do that because I'll fucking get you pretty. But we've actually we've had discussion about doing like wholesome pranks in the future, and just nothing like nothing fucked up, nothing gone sexual, gone wrong, just fun, like wholesome kind of shit, you know, like an added thing. So yeah, it's anyway another topic that I'll speak about later. But yeah, just like thanks for everyone watching. Like I was been definitely having a good conversation. And thanks for having me on. It's been really nice just talking. Coming out here and just having a chat about things that, you know, we're passionate about.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been absolutely awesome, man. So thanks for that.
That's all good. People, we're already here. You're already here. You know where to find me because you're watching this video now. But Del, where can they find you?
So I've got a website up at the moment, and it's got all my social links, my Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok, any other social medias I've put up by then, which will be my YouTube soon. And you can find it all there. So the link for that is Dale V Fitness, and that is spelled DALE, the letter V, and then fitness.com. And you can also just search me on Google. I come up there. You can search me on Instagram, TikTok. But if you really do get stuck, don't be afraid to just send Hamish or the Modern Viking a message.
I'll have a link to delvifitness.com in the description of this video.
Yeah. So there we
makes
go.
things easy.
A lot of different places.
As well as those articles.
And if you're still struggling to find me, you should probably get help.
Just give up.
Yeah.
Like, give up on the gym. Ignore this video's content.
Just come give your protein powder to me. I'll take care of it.
Yeah, he will.
But yes, that's where you can find me. You know, we'll be doing a lot more collabs in the future.
Fuck yeah.
And chats, and it'll be quite cool to see how this all grows. Next 2 years, I think, are just going to be huge.
Yeah.
Just whatever the fuck that was is what the next.
It was meant to be progress. Never mind. It looked more like a Russian starfish.
Yeah.
Don't Google that. Anyway, guys, this was Dale V Fitness, just saying some awesome shit. I've been Hamish, and you have been watching The Modern Viking.
Oh man, finally.
Yeah.